You, like all of us, long to live an authentic life. You want to live a life in which you get to share the best of who you are with the world around you, so that the world gets shaped by the wonder, the presence of you. That's a true life of meaning. And yet, you, like the rest of us, find that you're often thrown off course. That all too often, instead of sharing authentic self, you find yourself hiding behind a false self. You present who you think the world wants to see instead of sharing who you really are. What happened that you got knocked off course? And how do we bring you back to the authentic you and the authentic life you deserve? Well, I'll tell you what I think happened, because this is what happens to most of us. You come in not a blank slate the way Freud once said, but you come in with what we might call a soul or a spirit. There's a you that's alive from the moment you're born. And as you enter into this world, you long to be seen and known and loved by the people around you. You want to be the sparkle in the eyes of your caregivers. You want them to be excited to see you. And you want them to bring their kindness and compassion when you're having a hard time. But these caregivers have their own stuff going on. They may have their own trauma that keeps them from really being able to see and embrace you. They might just be very busy, and in the busyness of life, they miss you again and again when you're small. Perhaps you go to them with your anger, and they tell you to cut that out. Or perhaps you go to them with your sadness, and they tell you you shouldn't feel that way. Each of these acts of telling you not to have a feeling, not to be who you are, each of these are sort of micro traumas. These micro traumas add up, and they create what clinicians call cumulative trauma. And this cumulative trauma of being told again and again, at least as the child hears it, don't be who you are, don't have your feelings, don't express yourself, don't have your voice. I'm not saying that's necessarily what was meant by those transactions, but that's what kids often hear. Each of these micro traumas, they come from the adult not having the time to sit with and stay with and go through with the child. Each of these micro traumas add up, create a cumulative trauma that collectively says to the child, it's not okay to be who you are. And so kids might withdraw and hide themselves away. They might comply and create a false self that's who they think the world wants them to be, so they can be enough. Now fast forward this 20, 30, 40 years later into adulthood, and now you have adults who don't feel like it's okay to be who they are in the world, who feel they need to hide themselves away and be who other people want them to be. And the world loses the gift of the authentic you when that happens. So how do we reclaim that authentic you and bring you back into the world in a way that is rich and meaningful to you and to the world around you? The way to do it is in these sort of micro steps forward. If there were micro traumas that added up to create cumulative trauma that got you here, then there are sort of micro compassions that add up to create a cumulative compassion that bring you back. You start by just making a little bit more room in your life, by slowing down just a little bit so you can get in touch with, what do I feel? What am I feeling? And what do I need? And you bring your compassion, your empathy to yourself at these times. You bring your care to your feelings. You bring your care to your needs. And as you do that, you start to feel more comfortable, a bit safer in having these feelings and having these needs. And you start to allow yourself to share little by little, a little more about what you're feeling, around what your relational needs are with other people, so they can hear you, so they can know you in your experience of yourself in this life. And little by little, you take these small micro steps that collectively add up to you feeling comfortable sharing who you are, by first knowing who you are with yourself, and then sharing it more and more with the world around you. And that is the road back. Now, thanks so much for listening.